Everyone sings paeans about the virtues of teamwork. Whenever somebody gets a reward for some activity, invariably you will see a false kind of modesty where the person would claim that he or she couldn't have done it without the team. It is important to understand when teamwork is important and when teamwork is not that important. But we have been taught that teamwork is always important. Perhaps it is, but it comes at a cost. We have invariably seen, and especially in students' projects, you all must have observed that some students can hide behind the work of others, and this dilutes the incentives structure within the group. The individual who wishes to shirk work doesn't have any other incentive to do otherwise. The same is the story for any firm as well or a company as well. In this lesson, we are going to look at this kind of problem. Economics has a word for it. It's called the free rider effect. And we are going to analyze the free rider effect in this video. Here we look at two cartoons looking at teamwork from two perspectives. One from the management perspective, and as you can see, the management clearly thinks that teamwork is a sham, where the management person is saying that we are paying 6 people to do the job that one person should do. And from the team's perspective, another humorous cartoon which says that without teamwork, we won't be able to blame others for our mistakes. Now, one thing is very clear, whether we are looking at management perspective or we are looking at the team's perspective, the problem is how to identify individual contribution in a team. So, in view of this understanding, the questions that we need to address are: when should teams be used? What should be the incentive structures so that workers are able to perform better in a team environment? And finally, how to deal with free rider effects. Now, let us try and understand this free rider effect with an example which all of us are going to relate to. Let us say that you have gone out with your friends for dinner, and the rule is that whatever is the bill, it will be split evenly. This means that if there are 10 friends in this group dinner and the total bill is 1000 rupees, then each person has to shell out 100 rupees. This is irrespective of the fact whether individually you have consumed more than 100 rupees worth of food items. So, in case you have consumed, let's say, 110 rupees worth of food items, when it comes to splitting the bill, and let's say the total bill now therefore is 1010 rupees, each of the 10 individuals would be shelling out 101 rupee. Now, all others have consumed only, let's say, 100 rupee worth. However, they are paying 101 rupee each, while you have consumed 110 rupee worth and you are paying 9 rupees less. In effect, you are free riding. This is the free rider effect in action. Since I do not bear the full consequences of my actions, I do not behave appropriately. Indeed, when bills are split, the total cost of the dinner is higher than it would be were each person to be billed only for the amount that he or she actually eats. Similarly, in the workplace, when work is shared, total effort is lower because some of the benefits to an individual's effort are captured by other workers. The dilemma that is created at work because of free riding can be captured through this cartoon. Here, Gracie is pretty enthusiastic and she says, I have always dreamed of being on an academic team like this. It's great that we can all depend on each other. And one of the team members responds, well, we were kind of all depending on you, Gracie. The other three members of this team are clearly free riding on Gracie's efforts. Now think of a scenario where these four people in this team are given a project and they are told that there are certain incremental objectives. If they achieve, they'll be given, let's say, 1,000 rupees for the entire team. If the other three are free riding and Gracie takes that effort of achieving that incremental objective, the reward actually gets shared between all four. So Gracie doesn't get rewarded to the tune of 1,000 rupees. She is beneficiary to only 250 rupees if she's the one who's the only person toiling in this team and the others are free riding. Now, in that case, Gracie may weigh her rewards against other things that she might do, and as a result, might not take that extra effort in achieving that. The reason effort is reduced below its efficient level is that the worker who bears the pain of toiling does not reap the full benefits. If Gracie here would have been given the full 1,000 rupees, she might have taken that extra bit of effort to earn that. But since she knows that the entire group is going to free ride and is going to be a beneficiary and her share is just going to be 1/4, she would rather not take that effort. So, what prevents the company from paying individuals rather than teams for their effort? Nothing, as long as individual efforts can be observed. However, in a team environment, individual effort is difficult to observe. Further, sometimes basing the rewards on a measurement that is proxy for individual efforts can result in uncooperative or opportunistic behavior. Way back in a World Cup that was held in India, one of the sponsoring companies, announced that it is going to incentivize players who will hit four and sixes. Now, this was an incentive which was for individual players and apparently for the betterment of the team. But now, what happened was every player, each and every Indian player, was in a rush to hit either a four or a six because they wanted to take advantage of the incentive announced by that company. What is the problem in this? The problem here is that in a similar situation, let's say in a firm or a company, if workers are paid on the basis of team output, now in this case, if the incentive would have been if the team wins, you're going to get this. Instead of that, the incentive is individually, can you hit a four or can you hit a six? So if the workers are paid on the basis of team output, they free ride and do not put forth enough effort because everybody thinks the other person is going to do it. And if workers are paid on the basis of individual output, they do not care about team output enough. They focus too heavily on their own contributions and ignore teammates, even when helping someone else might further the interests of the team. This is why teams should only be used when there is a compelling reason to group individuals into teams. When individuals work together in teams, the firm is faced with a choice. Either it rewards workers on the basis of the team, in which case workers might free ride, or it rewards workers on the basis of their individual efforts, in which case workers behave selfishly to the detriment of the firm. The dilemma just described is faced typically by HR everywhere. This conflict reflects the fundamental problem associated with observability. There is nothing in theory that prevents a firm from rewarding a worker for both teamwork and an individual contribution. However, problems happen and mistakes happen when one is trying to judge the performance, and that this is something which is inevitable. Now, this situation lends itself to controversy between workers and supervisors who may see the same situation differently. As a practical matter, accurate masterminding of individual contributions to the output of the team is virtually impossible. In the next video, we are going to understand when to use teams.